Hey, Shalom. Before I begin, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachah HaKadosh, the honors to my teachers, the head apostles, the elders, the great millstone, and the Kazakh Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is the brother Layash from the church here in Cleveland, Ohio. I brought the Zah back with another edifying lesson through the Spirit. Real quick, this lesson was inspired by a conversation I had with the brother Kazakh that we have to be calm under pressure. There's a certain level of composure that we have to have as being men of the Lord. That starts off with being men. This is the mindset that's going to separate us from the masses. This is what's going to make us more precious than fine gold in a covert during the tempest, as the scriptures say. It's also us modeling our game after the author and finisher of faith, which is Yahweh Shah Mashiach. But without further ado, a couple precepts, a couple of my favorite accounts from the scriptures that ultimately boost my faith. And they don't make things easier, but they give me clarity as I continue to, fight for my crown. This is Daniel chapter 3 and verse 14. Shit, I started 10. Thou, O king, has made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And we know, according to our custom, we don't serve graven images. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. So that's death for not, serving the false god. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So that's plain. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you be ready, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made, well, but if you worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that should deliver you out of my hands? So he giving them an ultimatum. He like, is it true? You not doing according to the decree? This your last chance. Get down or lay down. And basically what God is going to save you. 16 was the point. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer in this matter. So we don't give a damn. They didn't bite their tongue. They didn't mince their words. If it be so, our power whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. He will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And that's the type of composure we got to have, man. The type of boldness that we have to have in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That is meekness personified because, hey, if things work in my favor or if things don't work in my favor, ultimately I'm leaning on the Lord. And this is what we're being built up to. One of my favorite examples, when I used to go to church and Sunday school and used to hear about certain accounts, I always believed. So now that I know that this is real, it gives me even more faith, man. This is Daniel chapter 6. I started 8, Daniel 6 and 8. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it not be changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which alter not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Oh shit. I started at 7, Salaki. Shit. You gotta really start up. Verse 5 says, mm, I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I would have to read the whole chapter, but this wicked men sought to bring Daniel down. Shit. I'll start at 7 because I'll end up reading the whole chapter. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, and the princes, counselors, and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast to the den of lions. And these were wicked men conspiring against the prophet Daniel. Now, O king, established the decree that was using trickery and deceit, and signed the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altered not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, so he faced the east. He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his power, as he did aforetime. So that didn't change nothing. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his power. Yahweh Bashim al Shaf. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast to the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. So they caught Daniel praying to another god besides their God. But what they didn't understand, but they will soon find out, is that he was praying to the God. His name is Yahweh. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. So he didn't want to, but he was bound by the words. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. So he was in distress because Daniel was a good man. And he was hoping and praying that the Lord delivered him. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, or in the Hebrew, Daniel, servant of the living power, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lion's den? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel and hath shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. So that's a faith booster, man. Thinking about it right now, how Esau Edom is going to come in, the enemy, chief enemy, Esau Edom, is going to come in like a flood, trying to persecute us for standing up for what's right. for refusing the image of the beast and the mark that comes with it. And we got to have that same spirit, not careful to answer. Like, no, I'm not taking that chip. No, I'm not bound down to serving Caesar Borgia. No, I'm not a Muslim. None of that. Standing 10 toes for Yahweh Bashim al Shai. And of course, going to the author and finisher of our faith, got to have a certain level of composure, because they didn't take matters into in their own hands. They relied on the Lord to deliver them. And that's what we're doing as we conquer trials and tribulations, as we, might slip and not necessarily pass the trial the way we want to, but ultimately learn. These things are refining us and getting us ready for that day. This is Mark 15:2. I'll start at the top. It says, and straightway in the morning, the chief priest held a consultation with the elders and scribes and the whole council, and bound Yahushua and carried him away and delivered him to Pilate. And Pilate asked him, art thou king of the Jews? And he answering said unto him, thou sayest. So the Lord, he went on an uproar doing extra. He's like, hey, man, it is what it is. Because from the time he came of age until the time where it was his duty, is his obligation to be crucified, his mind was on the mission. So he didn't let the fuck niggas rat on him. Excuse my French. He knew the things that he was up against, man. But I bring this up because he didn't have to think about it. The Lord's gonna give us what to say in that day, man. We're not gonna be spazzing and panicking. It's like we're gonna have that same demeanor, like, hey, look, it is what it is. If you're gonna kill me, do it. Because the Lord allowed you to do it. Not because you got any type of power. If I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live. And that's because Yahweh Bashim al Shah want me to live. And the chief priest accused him of many things, but he answered nothing. And Pilate asked him again, saying, answerest thou nothing? Behold, how many things they witness against thee. But yet Yahushua answered nothing. So that Pilate marveled. Why? Because, man, at the end of the day, what can you honestly say? He was on a whole nother. He knew he was about to die. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get the preset. He had one thing on his mind and one thing only. What was in front of him? His cup that he had to drink. John 18:1. It says, when Yahushua had spoken these words, he went forth with his disciples over the brook Kidron, where was a garden, into the which he entered, and his disciples, and Judas also, which betrayed him. He knew the place, for Yahushua oft times resorted thither, excuse me, with his disciples. Judas then, having received a band of men and officers from the chief priests and Pharisees, cometh thither with lanterns and torches and weapons. Yahushua therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him. Wait, what? Yahushua therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, right? Because he knew that Isaiah, the 53rd chapter, was talking about him. And that it pleased the Heavenly Father to bruise him. And once he prayed, and his father, it didn't respond in any type of way to take this cup from him, he already knew what it was. So it says, Yahushua therefore, knowing all things that should come upon him, went forth and said unto them, whom seek ye? They answered him, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua said unto him, I am he. And Judas also, which betrayed him, stood with them. Verse 6 is so cold. As soon Then, as he had said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground. So all that virtue, that power, whoosh. Then asked he them again, whom seek ye? And they said, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua answered, I have told you that I am he. If therefore ye seek me, let these go their way. So point being, even after demonstrating that power, his mind was focused on fulfilling the will of the Lord. We jumped out later in this chapter when Peter tried to pick up the sword. As a matter of fact, it's the next verse. But this is the same power entity that really could have called a legion of angels. But he came in the form of a man, lowly, a servant. When he was here, he didn't want to be exalted as king. He came lowly on the coat, foal of an ass. Mind focused on the mission. No emotions involved. When it came down to it, he did what was required of him. He was abased down here and exalted in the heavens. And because of this sacrifice and this mindset that he had, you know, I think about Revelation 5, we're able to understand the scriptures, but not Romans 15. We're able to look back at what he did and apply it to our walk. Because all of us together make up the body, man. And this is Yahweh Shah we're talking about. This is why we do the things we do, heralding his kingdom. And understanding that having that composure not only keeps blame from coming to the ministry, but allows you to be clear headed. It allows you to continue to embody the principles of meekness. Having that spiritual disposition, like, hey, damn if you do, damn if you don't. How about you outside in control? And there's nothing you can do. Being carnal, being emotional is not going to help you. Verse 9, that the saying might be fulfilled, which he spake, of them which thou gavest me, have I lost none. Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it, and smote the high priest's servant, and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Then said Yahushua unto Peter, put up thy sword into the sheath, the cup which my father hath given me. Shall I not drink it? Like, hey man, I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm on a mission. It's the same thing we on. And Romans 12:1, we're just making our bodies a living sacrifice. We're not at the part in our walk yet where we have to physically give up our lives. If that's your lot to be a martyr, so be it. But there's some of us that won't taste death. Each of us have to stick to our part in the movie and execute. That's the point of this lesson. We have to be calm under pressure and execute. And we're building that muscle now. We're building that muscle memory now. Understanding like, hey, my lot is my lot. And if I endure to the end, I'll be delivered. If I bob out the will of the Lord, I'll get a reward. And we know that the chastening doesn't seem joyous, but now the precepts give us clarity on why we're doing the things that we're doing, why we're receiving the judgment that we're receiving. Understanding that we don't have to die on the cross. All we got to do is teach and to the best of our abilities not be niggas, man. This is a heavy burden, but it's doable. Why? Because through Yahweh Shah, we are more than conquerors, man. If Yahweh Shah was able to do it, our forefathers, I think about the Maccabees, willing to die, stand 10 toes for what they believed in. How much more us having the correct doctrine, having the teachers, the apostles, and the elders and the camp heads throughout the four corners of the earth, and that faith of a mustard seed, man. As long as we continue to keep Yahweh Bashim El Shah first and keep our eyes on the prize, we can endure until the end. And the elect will. So, point of this lesson, we have to be calm under pressure. We're going to be put in very uncomfortable situations until we're delivered. But we go back and read these examples because it builds our faith. It shows us what to do. Hey, we're wise as serpents and harmless as doves. When it comes to what our Father wants, that's something that we can't play with. We're not careful to answer anybody in these matters. You know what I'm saying? This is my cup, and I have to drink it. The water, y'all, about Shemel Shah, forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. Abarat is always edifying. Until next time, Shalom.